Hello everyone. Let us revise our second chapter, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. In last lecture we have studied about the pollen grains. Pollen grain which is having two walls, that is exine and intine wall. Exine which is made up of sporopollenin and it is not continuous. In between it will be having germ pores, while intine it is a continuous one having cellulose and pectin. Now mature pollen grain, it contains two cells, that is vegetative cell and generative cell. Vegetative cell is bigger and has abundant reserve food, has large irregularly shaped nucleus. So this one is bigger in size, while generative cell is small, floats in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. It is spindle shaped with dense cytoplasm and nucleus. So this one is smaller in size and spindle shape. So this one is vegetative cell and this one is generative cell. Now in 60% of the angiosperm, pollen grains are shed at this two cell stage, that is vegetative and generative cell, while in 40% of angiosperm, in remaining species, generative cells divide mitotically and give rise to two male gametes. So it becomes three cell stage and then they are shed. So generative cell will again divide mitotically, so it becomes three cell stage. At that time they are shed. Now once the pollen grains are shed, they have to land on the stigma before they lose their viability to bring about fertilization. So they have to survive to bring about fertilization. Viability of the pollen grains varies. It also depends on the temperature and humidity. For example, in cereals like rice and wheat, it loses viability within 30 minutes, while in Rosaceae, Leguminosae, Solanaceae, it is maintained for months. Then pollen grains can be stored for years in liquid nitrogen, that is at minus 196 degrees Celsius, used in pollen banks in crop breeding programs. Then pollen grains, they also cause allergy. Pollen grains of many species cause severe allergy and bronchial affliction, respiratory disorder. Example, asthma, bronchitis. One of the example is Parthenium, which is also called as carrot grass. It came in India as a contaminant with the imported wheat, which causes pollen allergy. Then pollen grains can also be used economically. Pollen grains are rich in nutrient, so it is used as food supplement in the form of pollen tablets, syrups. Pollen consumption increases the performance of athletes and the race horses. So economically also pollen grains are useful. Now let us see about the female reproductive part of the flower, that is the pistil, megasporangium, also called as ovule, and embryo sac. So gynoecium, which is the female reproductive part. Gynoecium, its number differs. Either it can be monocarpellary or it can be multicarpellary. Monocarpellary, single carpel is present, for example, in case of pea flower, while multicarpellary in case of rose flower. Pistil or carpels, now again if they are fused, then it is called as syncarpus. Example, in case of tomato, mustard, datura, hibiscus. If the carpels are free, then they are called as apocarpus. Example, rose, lotus. Now the structure of pistil or the carpel. It has stigma, which is the platform for pollen grains to settle. Then style and ovary. Inside the ovary is the ovarian cavity, also called as lacule. Placenta is inside the ovarian cavity. This is called as placenta, which is inside the ovarian cavity. So arrangement of ovules in the ovary is called as placentation. So these are the ovules, smaller dots, and this is called as placenta. So the arrangement of the ovule is called as placentation. Now ovules called as megasporangia. Number of ovules will differ. For example, in case of wheat, paddy, mango, it is one, while in case of papaya, watermelon and orchid, it is many. So let us see the structure of megasporangia or the ovule. So ovule The ovule is connected with the placenta with the help of stalk-like structure which is called as funicle. So the ovules, these are the ovules which are attached to the placenta with the help of stalk-like structure which is called as funicle. The body of the ovule and the funicle where it fuses, that junction is called as hilum. Then there are two integuments. One or two protective layer are present. That is called as integuments. They are called integuments. Inside the integuments is the nucellus. It is filled with reserve food, and inside the nucellus will be the embryo sac. This one is called as embryo sac. So if we see the structure of the ovule, then it is having the ovule. It is having stalk-like structure called as funicle. The junction at which the body of ovule and funicle meets is called as hilum. Then it is having two integuments, one or two protective layer integuments. Then inside it is having nucellus cell, and inside the nucellus cell embryo sac is present. Now this integument is not continuous at this end, it is absent. That end is called as micropyle, and opposite to the micropyle end is chalaza, and this portion is called as raphe. It is the ridge that is present between the funicle and the body of the ovule. Now ovule. Ovule is a small structure attached to the placenta by the stalk which is called as funicle. Hilum, the body of ovule, fuses with the funicle in the region is called as hilum. So it is also the junction. Hilum is the junction between ovule and funicle. Integuments, they have one or two protective envelopes which are called as integuments. Nucellus, the cell within the integuments are called as nucellus, have reserve food material. Micropyle, the small opening at the tip where integuments are absent is called micropylar end. Opposite to it is called as chalaza. Opposite to the micropylar end is the chalaza, which is the basal part of the ovule, and embryo sac is located in the nucellus is the embryo sac or female gametophyte. If we see the diagram in the book, then here it is. So stalk like funicle, then hilum is present, two integuments are present, nucellus, and this one is the embryo sac. This one is micropylar end and this one is chalaza end. Now ovule has a single embryo sac formed from megaspore. So megasporogenesis, the process of formation of megaspore from the megaspore mother cell is called as megasporogenesis. So ovule will differentiate into a single megaspore mother cell in the micropylar region, which is having dense cytoplasm and prominent nucleus. So this ovule, it differentiate into megaspore mother cell which is having dense cytoplasm and prominent nucleus. Now this megaspore mother cell, it is two-end diploid condition. It will undergo meiotic division and will give rise to 4 megaspore. So such 4 megaspore will be formed. Out of that 3 will degenerate and only 1 will remain functional. Now that one will remain function which will develop into female gametophyte, or it is also called as embryo sac. So single megaspore give rise to embryo sac. So only single megaspore is giving rise to the embryo sac. So it is called as monosporic development. Then female gametophyte. Now further development of embryo sac, the nucleus of functional megaspore. Now only one megaspore is there out of megaspore mother cell which has developed into a single megaspore. So this megaspore, it is haploid, so it will undergo mitotic division. It will divide into 2 nuclei. Again it will undergo mitotic division. It will give rise to 4 nuclei. Again it will undergo mitotic division. It will give rise to 8 nucleate stage. So megaspore undergo mitotic division, giving rise to 2 nuclei, 4 nuclei and 8 nuclei stage. So these are nuclear division. Immediately cell walls are not formed. After this, cell walls are formed. So after this, the 6 cell will be surrounded by cell wall and 2 nuclei will form polar nuclei in the central cell. So this 6 cell, 3 over here, 3 over here, will around it the cell wall will be formed while the 2 polar nuclei are in the central cell. Now these 6 cells, that is 3 at the micropylar end and 3 at the chalaza end. This is called as egg apparatus and this one is called as antipodal cells. Now this egg apparatus, out of that 3, 2 are called as synergid cell, 1 is called as egg nucleus. While large central cell have 2 polar nuclei, so here 2 are synergid cell and 1 is egg nucleus. These are antipodal cells and these are polar nuclei. Now these synergid cells have thickening which form the filiform apparatus. Function of this filiform apparatus is to guide the pollen tube into the synergid. So 8 nucleate is now called as 7-celled embryo sac in typical angiosperm. So this 6 and this 6 and this is considered as 1. So it becomes 7-celled. Then pollen and pistil interaction. Following compatible pollination, ability of the pistil to recognize the pollen whether it is of the right type or wrong type, germination will take place. So the pollen grain germinates on the stigma and produce pollen tube from one of the germ pore. These are the germ pore. From any one of the germ pore, the pollen tube will be developed. So pollen grain settles on the stigma and it will germinate and it will give rise to the pollen tube. Pollen tube grows through the stigma and style and reach the ovary. So this pollen tube will now reach the ovary. Pollen grain, when they are shed, we have already studied this, whether they are 2-cell stage or they are in 3-cell stage. If it is in 2-cell stage, it is having vegetative cell and generative cell. So this generative cell will divide again and it will give rise to 2 male gametes. If it is 3-cell stage, it is already having 2 male gametes. So this is having 2 male gametes. Now pollen tube will enter the ovule through micropyle and enters into the synergid through the filiform apparatus which is guiding it to enter the synergid cell, which guides the pollen tube to enter the synergid. Till here events are called as pollen pistil interaction. Okay, now double fertilization. After it enters one of the synergid, it will release 2 male gametes. So after this pollen tube enters the synergid, it will release the 2 male gametes. From this, 1 male gamete will fuse with the egg cell, undergoing the process called as syngamy and giving rise to a zygote. So it again becomes diploid. So one of the male gamete will fuse with the egg cell and giving rise to a zygote. While the second male gamete fuse with the 2 polar nuclei, it becomes 3N, that is triploid primary endosperm nucleus. This is called as triple fusion. Now this triploid primary endosperm nucleus will be called as primary endosperm cell, which will develop into endosperm. So this is called as double fertilization. So once male gamete fuse with the egg cell, another male gamete fuse with the polar nuclei. Thank you.